is there enough meat there for you to ask questions? I think there is so much, as I said. I believe we could go on forever and a day. But it's interesting just to comment on that aspect. And I believe the Danish Hydraulic Institute has been working in the Yellow River on removal of sediment and to protect the floodplains. This has had a huge impact on both production and also in terms of urban protection in those areas. There are solutions. The question is, do we have the will to make these solutions happen? So I'll now open this for questions. Do we have microphones ready? Can I ask you to identify yourself, please, and see if we can keep the questions short, because the answers may not be short.
Hello, I'm Sahana Singh, editor of Asian Water magazine. And the question that has been bothering me all this time is about energy. I think it's been like 50 years or more since we knew that there is energy in wastewater. But we still went ahead and with all the conventional systems of wastewater treatment, and almost every city has this. And as Bill mentioned today, that the more you invest in infrastructure, the harder it becomes to look at other options. And I think that's true even for developing countries, because even cities like Delhi, Bombay in India, all of them have invested in conventional ways of treating wastewater. So, but we always knew that there is energy in wastewater, and it's actually, when you talk about innovation, this should have happened long ago, and we should have known how to use the energy in wastewater. So why do you think it has taken so long?
Interesting question. First response, I think it was already mentioned, is that it takes time. It takes time to put through the innovation. It takes time in any case, but you are also right. We could probably act more quickly on some issues, and energy and water is probably one issue on which we should really act more quickly. But first, there are different parts in your question. First thing, I think it's from a health point of view, and to protect environment. In any case, the first stage is to collect wastewater. You have to collect wastewater, and this investment has to be done in all the city. It's the best way to protect health of the population and to protect the environment. And then the second stage is wastewater treatment. And when you start to treat the wastewater, then you should immediately, on one hand, to try to get rid of the organic matters and to transform the organic matters in energy. But the first stage is to collect wastewater and then to start to treat. Regarding treating wastewater in the developing countries and in the developed countries, already a lot of things are nevertheless done. For example, to produce biogas, because you have a lot of wastewater treatment plants which has already biogas production, which are designed within the plant. What's also existing as technology is to get heat from the wastewater, because in the wastewater you have calories and organic matters, and you can also use calories, for example, to heat buildings or swimming pools and so on. And this technology exists, but at the end of the day, in order to be able to implement this technology, to implement this solution, you need the political willingness, because the public authority will set the framework in which either the public operator or the private operator or the private company will provide the technologies. That means that we need the politician, the people who are making the political decision, has also to be aware of all what is possible in order to put it in the tender procedures, in the framework in which we have to provide services and technology.
Karen, now this is a perfect segue for you. You started off talking about regulation, governance and legislation, and now Bernard's laid out the challenge.
Exactly. And that's why I'm very happy to have the microphone right now, because I totally agree with the path. As you said, point number one is the matter of collecting the wastewater. But actually, I would like just to take it just a step back as well, because, for instance, here in Canada, I just learned this morning that the waste of the water just running in the pipes is huge, because the whole pipe system is not efficient. It's leaking. And then the consumption of water. And that's also an issue that we really need to be aware of. For instance, in Canada, you have a daily consumption of water of 343 liters per day. And I'm sorry, I have to say that in Denmark it's 130. And why is it? Why? Because we have made legislation regarding use of water. We have put a price on water. We are paying personally for the water, for the wastewater treatment. But that gives us a personal responsibility on actually consuming water. And then we can go back to kindergarten and to the schools, and you know, everybody's laughing because the Danes are turning off the water while they're brushing their teeth. It's not that we're not brushing our teeth, and we do take showers, but we're just very much aware of the consumption of water. So that was just another stepping stone on the debate. But otherwise, I totally agree on the words you've said about biogas and the whole energy of water, of course. So my point here is that legislation is necessary, and it needs to be put on, you know, on the shoulders of each individual, actually, that water is a resource and it costs money.
Can I just comment on that also? I do think that we have a lot of technologies, and there is a lot of good examples of where you are actually using the energy from the waste. I just wanted to expand and just say that it's not only wastewater. We got to look at the total waste stream, the stream of waste. So even if wastewater is close to us, but it's also how we manage waste. So that with the technologies exist, good examples exist. The price of energy is perhaps not a compelling one. It's not good enough. So that one, I would say, is one main reason why you don't see more. And then I agree with all the other things with regards to the infrastructure. We're not nowhere we are paying attention to the infrastructure the way we should. My favorite example is that when Obama made the big $1 trillion contribution to things, only 1% was given to water and wastewater. And that to me was the saddest day, because at that point we realized that the water and wastewater people have not achieved anything the last 20 years. The message was not just understood.
I can't let this go because I'm afraid I'm going to be the odd person out on this discussion about infrastructure. I agree on the concept of saving energy. But let's think about it a different way. Instead of collecting the wastewater, by the way, as we collect it in systems like the one on the island of Montreal, the longer the system is, the bigger the pipes get and the more expensive they are to build. And that applies everywhere. So we keep talking about scaling up things, but maybe we should think about scaling them down. Now, if at the level of a household or an apartment block, you capture the waste there, and if it's captured by separating it, if the urine goes into a separate stream right from the toilet, from the fecal matter, you are going to save energy. You are saving all of the energy that it takes to make fertilizers. And you're stopping all the pollution of the air that goes with, of the atmosphere that goes with making the fertilizers. So that's my message is, let's start thinking about the basic fundamental systems. What's the best way to do it? By the way, to your example of Mr. Obama, the American Society of Civil Engineers published a report last year. The cost of renovating, bringing up to scratch, and bringing up to the standards of quality of the water supply and sewerage systems in the United States would be over $1 trillion. So we just see what we're facing when we're taking industrialized world and the amount of money we've got invested in infrastructure. What should the developing countries be doing? Thank you.